What's up, sports fans? This is the Lucas Ross Sports Channel. We continue here with our 2023 conference standings / conference championship predictions for the upcoming 2023 college football season. And we are now doing the ACC conference. Yesterday I gave you the SEC. Now we're doing the ACC conference. And again, how this video works, we're going to give you the standings, what the standings would look like based on my predictions that we, done since the month of May. And we're going to do the same thing like we did with the SEC yesterday. Give you the standings based off of my predictions and see who the top two teams are heading to the ACC championship this year. And also we'll give you a conference championship at the end of this video as well. And the ACC, it's a little bit different this year. Of course, no divisions in the ACC this year, so it's a free-for-all. Again, they had the Coastal and the Atlantic divisions last year, but now they have no divisions this year in the ACC. So I think the ACC is going to be a lot more competitive than it has originally been and over the years since they had those divisions. So we'll see what it looks like, but let's get to the standings here for the ACC. Again, this was kind of it was kind of tough to predict the ACC this year for each individual team, but we'll start from the bottom and work our way to the top. At number 14, I have Virginia here at number 14 as the worst team in the ACC. I have them finishing with an overall record at 2-10 and 0-8 in the conference. So I have them going winless in the conference this year. I do have them at least getting some non-conference wins this year, but it's really going to be tough for them to win an ACC game this year. The only winnable game I really see Virginia winning would probably be that Virginia Tech game at home at the end of the regular season. So, and speaking of Virginia Tech, they are ahead of this Virginia team. That's the reason why they're ahead of them at number 13. Virginia Tech is another team I don't expect to be all that good this year. This is a team that's coming off a disappointing 3-8 season last year. I have them finishing 4-8, 1-7 in the conference. This will be a tough one to call here for this Virginia Tech team. I did have a tough time predicting their record, so I think Virginia Tech, kind of similar to Virginia, I think both of these teams are going to really have bad years this year, so we'll see how it goes for them. Boston College at number 12. I have them going 6-6 and 2-6 in the conference. Boston College is a team that'll make it to a bowl game this year. I think this team is going to be pretty good. I think, with all the production coming back for them, they're going to have a decent year. And this could be a really good, chance for them to get to a bowl game somehow. They missed out on a bowl game last year, going on a disappointing season at 3-9. So Boston College at number 12 here. Pittsburgh at number 11. I had a hard time with Pitt here, with their prediction. I have them finishing at 5-7 and 3-6 in the conference. I think with the amount of losses they had from last year's team, it's going to really get to them. I think this is going to be a step back year for this Pittsburgh team. I don't think they're going to be terrible. I think they'll just miss out on a bowl game. That's pretty much all I can say about Pitt this year. I think they're just going to miss out on a bowl game, but a lot of people are picking this team to go 7-5, maybe 8-4 as well, but again, with all the amount of losses they had on both sides of the football, offensively, especially at that wide receiver position, I think Pittsburgh's going to probably struggle this year. So that got them here at number 11. Louisville comes in here at number 10. They're 6-6 and 4-4 in the conference. Louisville's got a lot of transfers coming in. This could be a very good Louisville team, but the schedule, there is some tough games on the schedule that they have. But this is a easy schedule that they have this year in Louisville. They got to play Notre Dame, though, out of the non-conference, and so they play Kentucky as well. Indiana and Georgia Tech as well, and I do have them losing both of those neutral site games to Georgia Tech and, of course, Indiana out of the Big Ten. And speaking of Georgia Tech, they're here at number 9. I have this Georgia Tech team going to a bowl game this year. They're tied here for number 9 with Louisville, but Georgia Tech's got the win here, in the winner. I picked them to win in the regular season matchup. Georgia Tech, though, I think this team is going to make it to a bowl game this year. I know a lot of people are not going to say they're going to make it to a bowl game, but I just feel very confident with Georgia Tech's schedule. Their schedule really sets up nicely, but also their schedule is tough. They do have to play Georgia out of the non-conference, and also they got these other ACC opponents that's going to be really tough for them. They also have to play Ole Miss out of the SEC as well, so you got a really tough schedule, but I think Georgia Tech's going to get better down the stretch at the later part of the season, and I think that's why they can finish at 6-6 and 4-4 in the conference. Wake Forest, I have them going at 7-5 and 4-4 in the conference. I think this is still a really good team without Sam Hartman. That's going to be the question mark for them at quarterback position, but I think the offense is going to be still very explosive like it was for Sam Hartman's offense, and I think defensively is what I'm concerned about for Wake Forest. They lost a lot of talent on that side of the football, but I think this is still going to be a really good, decent Wake Forest team. I don't think they'll be up there for the ACC championship, though. I think this will be kind of a step back year after they lost Sam Hartman. So Wake Forest at number 8, and that's the lineup from 8 through 14. I should say the standings from 8 through 14 here with the ACC. Moving on to 1 through 7. We'll start with number 7, and that's Syracuse here. At number 7, I have them finishing 7-5 and 4-4 in the conference this year. Syracuse is a team I think people are sleeping on. I think this team is going to be really good this year. They have a decent amount of production coming back. I think this team is getting slept on by a lot of other, college football, channels and everything. So I think Syracuse could be a dark horse contender. I think all these teams that you're seeing from 3 through 7, I think they're definitely going to be dark horse contenders, maybe 4 through 7 as well, or maybe 8 through 9 as well. So, we had a lot of dark horse contenders here in the ACC because there are no divisions this year. Syracuse, though, here at number 7, I think they finished 7-5 and 4-4 in the conference. Duke here comes in at number 6. This team has the second most returning production in the ACC this year. I have them finishing 8-4 and 4-4 in the conference as well. I have them beating Syracuse in the regular season matchup, so that's how the Blue Devils ended up ahead of the Orange. I think Duke is going to be a dark horse contender this year. I don't think it will be quite enough to make it to the ACC championship. But it's very possible. It's very possible that Duke can make it in, perhaps for the ACC championship. This team is coming off a 9-4 season last year. Maybe they looking like they're going to be a 10-win team this year. But I think that's going to be very impossible for Duke to do. If they did a 10-win season, that would just really surprise me. But I do have Duke going 8-4 and 4-4 in the conference. Miami comes in here at number 5. I have them finishing 9-3 and 5-3 in the conference. And you're probably wondering, why is Miami behind NC State? Well, Miami, I have them losing to NC State on the road. Miami, though, I had them finishing at 9-3 and 5-3 in the conference. I think they're going to have a really better year than they did last year. They went 5-7, coming off a disappointing season in 2022. I think they're going to be more better than they were last year. You got Tyler Van Dyke that's fully healthy now. And hopefully, if he stays healthy, Miami could be a very dangerous team. But I think they finished 5th here in the ACC. NC State at number 4. This is a team that's kind of similar to, Wake Forest. They lose their starting quarterback in Devin Leary. He's transferred over to Kentucky. NC State, I think, will be still really a good team. They got, a transfer coming in from Virginia, the quarterback I think they have coming in. So we'll see how that plays out for them. But NC State's just got a lot of question marks, but I think they're still going to be a decent team in the ACC. I think they go 8-4 and 5-3 in the conference. Then you got North Carolina here at number 3. Finishing 10-2 and 6-2 in the conference. North Carolina's got a non-conference game with South Carolina in that opener. I have them winning that game, and I have them starting undefeated until they lose their last 2 games of the season on the road at NC State. And I think the other loss comes to, Clemson perhaps. I think they do play Clemson in the regular season, so I think that's why I think North Carolina will finish 10-2 this year. But those are their last 2 losses. Remember last year, North Carolina, choked those last few games, before they went to the ACC championship. That very well could happen this year. They do end things out with 2 straight road games with Clemson and NC State. So we'll see how that plays out. But I think North Carolina finishes 10-2 and 6-2 this year. You got Drake May coming back at quarterback. And I think this offense is going to be pretty explosive this year. Florida State comes in here at number 2, 9-3 and 7-1 in the conference. You're probably thinking, how is Florida State at 9-3? Well, I do have them losing that season opener game to LSU. Last year, I predicted Florida State to win that game, but this year I'm picking LSU to win it. Florida State, though, there's no question about this team. There's going to be really a lot of hype for this team this year, and they got a lot of returning production coming back. We already knew that. The defense should be strong. Offense should be really strong as well. Jordan Travis, potentially a Heisman Trophy winner perhaps, maybe a candidate as well for the Heisman Trophy. I think offensively Florida State's not going to be really explosive, but they just got some veteran players on that side of the football, and also the recruiting has been good, and also the transfers coming in. They have recruited really well in the transfer portal. So I think Florida State will make the ACC championship this year. They're at number 2 here, and then they'll face Clemson here at number 1. Clemson, I think, wins it here. I think they are the top team in the ACC once again this year. I have them finishing 10-2, though, and 7-1 in the conference. I do have them losing at least one conference game this year. And I believe that was to Miami. Yeah, Miami on the road. That's who I have them losing to in the regular season out of the ACC. But I do have them losing that non-conference game to South Carolina in the rivalry weekend. And I think Clemson's going to come up really short of the 11-1 season, maybe an undefeated season as well. Really what concerns me about Clemson is definitely the offense. I mean, if Caleb Klubnik can stay consistent, Clemson could be very well a dangerous team. But defensively, they should be really strong on that side of the football. So those are the standings for the ACC for the 2023 season based on my predictions. And we got Clemson and Florida State now playing here for the ACC championship. This game is going to be in Charlotte, so we got Clemson here versus Florida State. Again, no divisions in the ACC. The first time that the ACC will host two Atlantic teams here in the same stadium as well. Clemson, they have the better overall talent than Florida State, but experience-wise, the Seminoles do have the more talented, or actually the more experience of a roster. Could this be finally Florida State's year? Could they finally beat Clemson and obviously, win the whole thing in the ACC? This is a rematch also from the regular season. I did have, Florida State losing one regular season game in the ACC, and that was to Clemson in the regular season. That game is on September the 23rd, and I think this is kind of like a revenge game here for Florida State. Clemson, like I said, is the more talented team here, but I think the experience of Florida State will get it done. I think this game is close, but Florida State, I think this is finally their year. I think they finally get the ACC championship crown, and I finally they get back to their winning ways like where they used to be in 2014 when they used to have Jameis Winston, leading to the college football playoff. And I think Florida State finally does it. I think they finally win the ACC championship. I know Clemson fans won't agree with this, but Clemson, we know they've been inconsistent now in the last couple years, and they've been the top team ever since. But this is a revenge game here for Florida State. They'll be ready for this Clemson team, but this is also a neutral site game, and I think the Seminoles will win it in here in a neutral site game. So I think Florida State wins it all this year in the ACC. Let me guys know what you think about these standings and also this conference championship prediction. Do you agree or disagree with my prediction pick for my championship pick? And also, do you agree or disagree with my standings? Let me know down in the comments below, and stay tuned here for more sports content videos on my Lucas Ross Sports channel.